Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. I'm your host, Greg Phelps, along with dementia care expert Teepa Snow. And Teepa, our topic today is difficult conversations, and I think there's been one or two of them. So let's start with the beginning. Mom and dad, maybe even sister, brother. How am I going to say it to them? I'm going to say, hey, I think you got dementia. I think you got that brain disease. How do we start this conversation? Because more and more people are having to have it.
Yeah, not like that, Greg. That's not our recommendation at all. So we believe in the relationship starting with curiosity. And that is not, I think there's something wrong with you. That's accusatory or sort of judgmental. We also believe we need compassion in that. We really are going to need compassion. So curiosity and compassion. Then we really want to authentically be interested in this. And the goal of the whole thing, to be quite honest, is try to empower people. So they feel empowered about this conversation, not like we're trying to take something away. So, hey, Greg, I'm wondering something.
Yeah.
Notice I had to pause and see if you were in the conversation or not. And those conversational pauses are super important because if I jump the gun on this one, I'm already pushing the conversation versus seeking to have a conversation. So here's my question. I feel like I've been noticing some changes when we're doing some things lately, and I'm curious about whether or not you have noticed anything or not.
Oh, what do you mean? I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't necessarily saying there was something with you. I'm just noticing about sometimes when we try to go do things, I'm noticing some shifting.
Well, have you had your hearing checked?
Well, actually, I did, though I had to ask the doctor to do that. I will be honest with you. Now, when you went in, did you ask him anything about getting your hearing checked? Because I actually had to ask. I mean, he didn't want to do it. He said, well, you think there's something wrong? And I said, I don't know, because I'm not sure if I did have a hearing problem, I would even notice that I'd have a hearing problem.
So when you start these conversations, Teepa, you can run into some really amazing deflectors because we're all protective if we think we're going to be put under the microscope.
Better believe it. Yeah, especially when we talk about something that has such stigma attached to it. And what I chose to go with is, well, it's pretty clear my partner is either feeling super defensive or really hasn't noticed anything about himself. And so I'm going to start with something we know that is a risk factor associated with increasing changes in ability, and that is hearing loss. But it didn't sound like I was trying to accuse you of having hearing loss, did it, Greg?
No, not at all. No.
And that's a lot less threatening than I think you've got brain failure, and we're going to have to be changing our entire lives because of that. Notice Greg's initial was, well, are you having problems? It's like, well, I don't know. And so I stayed super curious about it. And I stayed sort of like non-defensive. And I actually said, I actually had to ask, which raises that, so if he didn't, okay, what could he do? I mean, just out of curiosity, what is possible if, that's the case?
So speaking of curiosity, is that the safest approach without sounding accusatory? Or are there any other approaches?
Well, I stay with curiosity, or I'll wait till something happens. And it's like, wow, this is frustrating. So let's say Greg couldn't find the car in the parking lot, and I might know where it is. And it's where he parks it usually, but all of a sudden he's not able to find the car in the parking lot because he's looking for the wrong color car. I say, wow, this is really frustrating. So we're looking for the car, and you usually park it where? Here or somewhere else, Greg?
Yeah, so you don't come in with guns blazing. You're not going to put me in a position where I'm going to be, I was going to say defensive, but if you put me on the defense, I'm going on offense. That's sort of the way I am.
You got it. And the bad news is your brain sort of remembers stuff like that. And it's not clear. It's not like it accurately remembers the stuff, but it remembers it doesn't want to talk about this. I'm not talking about that. And so then we start to get the big pushback. And that's not just defensive. That's slamming the door, shutting the window. I am not talking about this. Don't bring this up again. Because what happened is I scared you. I scared you with this conversation. I have your primitive brain, your amygdala, in full out fright mode. And it's either going to flight, fight, hide, or seek. And I can get it to do all of those things simply by saying, I think you have dementia, dad, mom, husband, brother. Or
so if you bring up things like driving, bill paying, hygiene, again, can you make curiosity work for all of those?
You can. You go, wow, that was an interesting thing. Wow. I thought we almost got hit. What about you? Yeah. So you meant to make that left hand turn and that guy came faster than we thought. Whoa, that was close. Shoo-wee. These people, wow, driving. So, hey, Greg, I'm curious.
Are there any other safe methods? Because I'm curious.
Can
Can we do a shared experience and hope for maybe somebody will tag on and go, that's happening to me too? Or,
Sure. Oh,
again,
that's a great one, Greg. Yesterday I was standing at the doorway and I said to myself, what did I come in here for? And then I went back in the other room where I started and I said, what was I doing when I decided to go to the other room? And then I couldn't think of it. And I thought, what the heck? Now I'm curious, have you had moments like that too, or is that just me?
You're giving an invitation to communicate. Now, if somebody doesn't want to communicate, which is quite likely, should I back off and reload, or should I just let it be and think about it for a day or two?
Well, we definitely want to pause. We want to pause for sure, Greg. That's important. The pause is really important. Whether or not we come back into it or whether we look at, okay, is there another person that maybe could do this differently or better than me? Is there a place where we might be more comfortable doing this? Are there some props or objects I could have around to use as sort of indicators or something along that line? Or is there some time of the day and when we do what we do that it might more naturally occur? And it turns out for some people, if you're the one driving, like I'm the one driving and I have concern about my partner, while I'm driving might be a time if I have the brain space and I have the amygdala control myself to say, I'm wondering, when we were driving the other day, I noticed something and I'm curious whether you did or not. But I can only do that if I can keep myself under control. So I don't always recommend, dangerous situations like driving, but I do think sometimes, wow, this seems really like loud music to me. How are you doing? Oh, it's fine for me. And it's like, really? Wow. Because I'm finding it hard to pay attention to the conversation we're having. There's so much going on. Well, yeah, but that's just because you're having ear problems. It's like, okay. Because what I've discovered is, what, in my case, I might have something different happening here. It's not just bringing it up. It's the kind of problem that we have is a lack of awareness no matter what. I did a good job of bringing it up. That person doesn't have curiosity about themselves because they think they're fine. So I definitely need a big pause here, and I may need to go get some help on what to do because me doing anything pushing forward is going to cause more problems, not fewer.
Well, speaking of help, is there somebody that I can pick up the phone and talk to, or is there somebody that I can email with, or many people are proficient on Zoom, even better than me, and I don't lose people on occasion?
Yeah. So, what I'd recommend is thinking about just giving our consult line a call or info@TIPA-SNOW, either one of those, or call our 800 number. We do this kind of stuff with great regularity. And I'm sure there are other organizations out there that do as well. But if you're interested in having somebody being curious with you, being truly wanting to authentically and compassionately empower you, we might be a group you want to talk to.
TIPA, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. For more information on any of our topics, go to tipasnow.com.
Hi, I'm TIPA-SNOW. and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching. And if you liked, if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out. And you might want to visit our website, www.tipasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.